Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host for today's episode. And today on the show, we have Abidi, CEO and founder of AgxntSix AI. As my guest, we're going to be learning about his company, his journey to business ownership, best practices that he's learned, and challenges that he's faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to operate a business. Welcome to the show, Abidi. So great to meet you. Thanks for being here today.
No, thank you, Kay. Like, honestly, I'm really excited, and the energy you bring, like, I just know it's going to be a great conversation ahead of us.
Definitely, definitely. Well, before we dive into all things business, I'd love to share with our audience a bit about you. So take us back as far as you'd like and share a bit about yourself.
100%. My earliest memory was me having an iPhone 3 in my hand and just trying to mess around. I've always been one to tinker with tech. I'm the HDMI guy. Anyone's house, like, they're like, just let this guy go solve it. Anytime I get into a car, I'm trying to mess around with all the buttons. That curiosity and inclination of tech and just trying to figure things out kind of shaped my journey. In high school, started up my first juice business. Skipping past a little bit, was able to go and study at, I'd like to say some pretty prestigious real, educational institutions, such as the Smith School of Business and the National University of Singapore, where I actually studied AI. But I would like to say forefront, school didn't help me get here. It was just everything outside of school. And that's kind of what's been my journey of just trying different things, different avenues in terms of business opportunities, seeking mentorship, trying to start up an app, joining a startup, and I've also been very fortunate in my own regards to never have been in a corporate organization. So I've always been kind of like free-minded in where I am. What brings me to today? Was very fortunate to learn about AI and be at two startups around 2 years ago that did conversational AI, and now here we are today with my own AI company, which I'm very happy to be in the business and to support local businesses, increase systems, and so on.
Oh,
A
that's
little bit of a
wonderful.
run on. I won't lie, a little bit of a run on.
No, that was great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that about yourself, especially like knowing at such a young age, like this is what you want to do. I think that's really cool. So now you mentioned, okay, so it's an AI company. Now let's dive into what that means. And so tell me about, Agent Six. Like, how did it come about, first of all? And then what are some of the services you offer within it?
I appreciate that. So it's been a journey. We've been operational for a year. I am a young founder, and so it's just been up and down since the very beginning. The two companies I worked at, we were doing conversational AI, so voice AI. So if you hear about like they call it like AI receptionist, or if you call into a bank, a newer IVR system. That's where most of my experience is in. And that kind of translated once I finished with those two companies, I was like, hey, like this is an amazing opportunity that I want to bring into the market. So Agent Six at its core was pure voice AI. Like, hey, let's bring AI agents into your phone operations and then see where it kind of goes from there. But over time, realizing that we were actually very early and mature in the market. Like none of the business owners I spoke to really understood the value nor what this even means for their business. But now you have companies like A16Z saying like, hey, this is a whole new market and segment that exists. So start off in voice AI, then I'm like, okay, what are some actual pain points that businesses are running into? And it came into systemizing operations. People are being sold end workflows and these basic automations as these like game changers. And so now today where we stand is we actually do business transformation. My team and primarily we come into your organization, we see where all the bottlenecks are, we map it out for you, and we say, hey, these are the places where like tech would help you. So you don't need AI everywhere. This is where like you'd be able to systemize a few of these steps in your process. This is where AI agents would be beneficial. And then we go ahead and help you actually implement that over a 6 month period. So that's kind of the main vertical that we're in. We're kind of figuring out our niche still. We've been just in almost 12 different industries, just helping out different organizations and seeing like what works, what fits. And from there, the goal of this year is to really just help out those businesses, let them grow, and then see where we kind of want to niche down into.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. You're kind of seeing where your market fit is. And so within the industries that you're currently in, are you seeing any that are starting to surface as like standing out, or is it still kind of like even across the board?
So service-based businesses are the most ideal because this is where you actually have a lot of room to cut down on operational cost.
Hmm.
And that's where just like there's just unnecessary resources being put towards certain tasks that just aren't required anymore. You're the role of a service-based business is to provide as high of a quality service as possible, right? And so that usually comes with a lot of overhead, and we look at trying to support that. So I would say service-based businesses are for sure where we're heading towards. For me, the insight from like a few mentors that have shared is like they said, find the smallest niche possible, like the smallest of the smallest, dominate it, and then once you're known, then you can start scaling versus like working with a law firm. Legal tech is the most, like I say, one of the most competitive as well as in the medical tech space. So one of the AI companies I worked with was actually voice AI for medical, and that's where there's a lot of funding and a lot of money, but also very competitive. So that's how I'd kind of say service based, and then looking to really find that niche.
Nice. I love that. Now you mentioned you and are there other any co-founders, any board of directors or employees that you currently have?
For sure. So I have one co-founder. Right now, he is can't really speak about him too much just because he's right now figuring out like a few different things, so he can't publicly be known. But this is actually one of my friends from high school. He is one of the top insurance sales reps in the world. Like, the company he works at, they're a Fortune 50 company, youngest guy leading from the front. And so we're right now just trying to figure out that transition, and we're looking to bring him like, full time and bring him actually in. So that's kind of like my co-founder. Besides that, I just have a very solid team of individuals that I've been very fortunate from God to have just entered in my life. And so we're just all coming together.
Ah, that's amazing. Now, who are some of your other team members? Or do you have any like specific roles that are filled for
So
you?
So one of them, his name is Andrew Andrew Milo. He is he has a PhD in AI and computer science. He's been one to where in more corporate settings, he's been actually leading AI adoption for the last like 20 years. And so here now I get to lean on his wisdom and insight that he's seen, but now with the creativity of like myself, because all I've known is AI. All I've known is tech. Like I grew up with an iPhone 3 in my hand. And so I'm able to look at problems a little bit differently and a little bit nuanced and have that little bit like childlike curiosity in when applying and adopting these systems. And
Mm,
so that's really been beneficial for myself because I feel like there's a completely new lens, and like you kind of need that because we're entering a new age. We're entering an age that no one knows what's going to happen. Like really, like especially like with how the world is moving right now, this is all cyclical. So like this isn't new, like it's very unfortunate what's happening, but this isn't new. Like, like we can probably look back in history and see, okay, things are happening like this, but AI it's a black hole. No one knows what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen in a few months and so on.
yeah, that's good insight. That's very good insight. Now, kind of like moving at the like what you see with the company in the future, where do you see your company going in the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
So I'm really, really glad you asked that because where me and my business partner have kind of seen a great opportunity is actually of uniting people and looking at giving back. And how that's kind of being done is right now, like the average person and family is struggling more than ever to make their bills. Two jobs isn't enough anymore. And especially like my home roots are in Toronto, milk is around $8 right now, which
Mm.
I know growing up it was like around like $3 for a carton of milk. And so we see that there's this need of where there's families and people that are working full-time jobs that need to make ends meet that are trying to figure out how they can actually do that. So we're right here, we're looking at building actually a sales curriculum to teach people how they can actually sell AI, uplift themselves, get knowledgeable to it, to where they may know friends, family, business owners, they may be able to want to have a second stream of income and not have to actually give up their full-time job. So where I see the next, especially the next 2 years, is us really building up this like certification and curriculum to where the everyday person can now come and utilize this opportunity that's ahead of us. Because in the next 5 years, like a lot of these opportunities we see now, there are going to be kind of like shut out. And I don't know if you're talking to business owners all around. I don't know if that's a sentiment that you agree with or don't. But I do see that like the window and gap is slowly converging. You know, you have Jack Dorsey laying off half of his company, saying, "Hey, we have more profits than ever before. We've made last year they made $3.12 billion dollars." And I know that because I just looked at it like just a few hours ago. And they made
Mhm.
all this money, but they're like, "Hey, I just want to be upfront and just rip the bandage off. And so we're gonna have to lay off half you guys because that's just where the future's headed." And so we want to have that the everyday person that may not have been fortunate enough to have gone into tech their entire life or have a very prestigious corporate job, how can you still utilize this AI opportunity that's in front of you? And so that's kind of where we're headed.
Oh, wow. That's really powerful. And I like that you're thinking ahead of, with looking at the times and seeing where your company can grow. And I kind of want to dive into some of the challenges as being a business owner, not only opening a business in today's kind of, climate of, what's going on, but just in a general sense, the challenges that business owners face. What is something that you are currently challenged with or working through within your business?
I love that. I'd like to say, me being a like, I would say this is my first time truly being like a founder. I actually got old enough with enough experiences to like take it head on. So I'll say what are some challenges I see as like a first time founder that I would kind of share with like my younger self, and then kind of touch into like what I'm currently facing. So first one is just trying to scale too fast. You want to do everything and everything. You want to hit every social platform. You want to hit every niche. You want to do it all, and you end up doing nothing. So that's the first piece of advice. Like, hey, don't do too much. You know, find one thing, and especially in AI, everything's a shiny object. There's probably 5 AI models that drop by the time we record this to when this is posted, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
GPT 5.3 came out just yesterday. So here I'm gonna just timestamp us of where we are in like AI world, right? So for all you young founders, don't try to go and build off in 10 different places. And then now where I am today, I would say the best thing to do is work with good people. Understand, find partners in the space. Understand that like yes, it's always great to have like, a big portion of your pie, but working with great individuals takes you so much further, so much more insights. And now today, like that's where I stand. Like I'm really open to meeting individuals and seeing like, hey, firstly, like, are you a good person? And that's through conversations. And if you're not, like understand like that's like rats in a McLaren. Like you want to keep people like that away, even if there may be benefits. There may be benefits, but it's not worth it at the end of the day to bring that into your house.
That's very powerful. Very like a golden nugget of this conversation is like, yeah, keeping your I like that rats in a McLaren.
Rats in a McLaren. Yeah,
That's a good analogy. I
yeah,
just
that's
pictured
yeah,
a car. I'm
you
like,
don't want no rats in the McLaren. Like that's really important.
yeah, that is so true. That is true. So now, as you're moving forward in business, I have a couple questions I want to ask you. First one, you mentioned work with good people. So are you looking to hire positions, or what does that look like for you in the next year or two?
So, on the fulfillment side, I have a very solid team and partners that exist. And so there are like again, I don't try to do everything. There's certain things Like for example, like a mobile app development, I have one of my friends where they specialize in it. So fulfillment I have really like set up. It's the getting that's this the sales side of it where I mentioned of trying to bring people. So that's where like I'm within the next 2 months right now finishing up like the curriculum and course, looking to bring as much value in this as possible to where the person by the time they leave, not only can they sell AI like they can sell AI for any company. Like we're really trying to upskill this next the next like generation of like salespeople because distribution is right now the most sought after thing in AI land. A VC, all they're going to ask you is what's your distribution? What is your moat? Technical moat doesn't exist anymore. We've kind of all established this. Someone creates something, 10 of them pop up within 24 hours.
Mm,
Data data is a moat of a kind, but that again is you can have great data, but if you don't have distribution, you don't have anything, right? And so right now, that's really what we're looking at focusing on. And that's kind of where we're hiring. Like, hey, if you're someone who's an everyday person, you have a job, but you're looking at making a second income stream and utilize this opportunity ahead of you where you're hearing people make crazy amounts of money, like why not let that be you? And that's just really important to me because I myself come from a low income background. Like my whole life I've lived in government housing. And so this notion of giving back to those who like need it the most is really like it's really home for me.
that is really powerful that you said that. Thank you. And, you know, looking at, you know, you mentioned about the sales and the course and the development. How are you currently marketing your product and or your services to gain clients? Like, how are you putting yourself out there?
So, hopping on a podcast is one of them, getting known. But the main avenues that we've actually looked at is more like direct. So we actually go directly to our leads. Like we try to actually go out, door knocking is like a really important one that we've kind of looked at of just trying to establish, especially for some of the small medium businesses. And as we kind of progress, we've started looking into ads, especially with the new Facebook updates, Andromeda. Ads are now easier than ever. So if you're a business owner, like understand, and if you haven't done ads because you feel like it's this whole maze and gate, understand it's easier than ever today. The algorithm will figure out who it's trying to go to. So that's an avenue that we're also looking through. And just trying to build a presence on like LinkedIn as well. That's kind of one thing that I've been a little bit hesitant, not hesitant, but like plate's been kind of full, but that's where I'd like to get into next.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. And now, so as you look at the rest of 2026, where do you see yourself with the most growth potential in terms of it could be in the sales side, marketing, development? Where could you use the most support?
So this year I see support or growth. Like where do I see the most growth happening?
Let's go support first and then growth.
So where I could use the most support is for sure on the like the lead generation side, Like there hasn't been a company that's gone bankrupt from too many deals in the pipeline. So that's the one place that I could actually use the most support. And that's something that has been like a trial and error over the past year in terms of tried out many different avenues, attempted it, try to go deep into some. So that would be the main area. And then the biggest area for growth I do see is actually in the sales side because we're finally at a point in the customers and the client's journey where people are actually problem aware. Like you'd be surprised that like I've spoken to so many business owners last year saying like, hey, we provide XYZ AI solutions, which are actually like the leading edge. Like where the products we provide are actually like top grade A+ products compared to what's out there in the market.
Hmm.
And so, like, these are all the things that we can do. But even with right framing, even with showing ROI, like business owners were just very hesitant. Now, coming to 2026, business owners are more problem aware than ever. And I'm speaking to individuals that are like, hey, like we know like our competitors are using it. And I'm like, yes, they have been, but they started using it years ago. This isn't like they didn't just 2026 and turn on the switch. And so you are already, if you're a business owner that really doesn't have AI adopted, like AI just shows that, hey, you're ahead of the times, then
Mm-hmm.
you're already falling behind. And I'll give you like the my nugget of like what I try to get every business owner on is a new website. Like really, if you listen this far, think about it. When's the last time you actually updated your website? You're probably using WordPress Elementor. Are you even being shown up in AI results?
Mm-hmm.
You know, more people are using ChatGPT than ever. Have you actually built that out? And that's like that's actually like the first thing that like when transforming a business, we actually go and rebuild a website custom and make sure that you actually start ranking very high on these pages. So like that's kind of where everything's kind of coming into place. People are becoming problem aware of what's going on and they're looking for a solution and very fortunate to be the people that can actually provide it at such a high quality.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big thing to think about, and yeah, this has been a great conversation so far. And now I want to take us through our rapid fire Q&As. So I'm going to be asking you 4 questions and just answer very top of mind.
Ready?
All right. Question number 1 is, what is the key to success for you?
Um, grit. Gr Being able to fight through adversity, especially like doesn't matter you're a business owner or not, life does not get easier, you just get stronger. So great.
That's true. That's very true. Number 2 is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
The open your eyes to what's happening around you. I know you've done business a certain way all the way until this point, but times are changing faster than ever. So either adopt or get left behind.
That's truth too. Thank you for sharing that. Number 3, this is kind of a fun one. It could be a book, podcast, just any piece of content that's resonated with you recently.
Would it be wrong for me to shamelessly plug me and another AI founder? No.
Yeah, it's the answer is all yours.
So, me and another founder I met in Miami. Long story. He's out of California. His name is Matthew. He runs Cortex Labs. They're doing primarily AI for government and also business transformation. We're partners on that. Me and him, we started up a podcast where we're still trying to figure out the name. So it's still undecided. We're on week 3, but we talk about AI, entrepreneurship, and faith and God, really. Like that, those are our core pillars. And so I
Mhm.
feel like we are very in tuned with what's going on. We're hypersensitive. We're literally living on the edge. And so we're just trying to bring that knowledge and insight to everyone. So unfortunately don't have a name, so I can't drop it there, but we're still figuring it out.
Oh, well, I might have some resources for you for how to name your
Mm.
podcast. I do. I can send you some for sure.
No, please, please.
Definitely, definitely. I'm gonna actually make a note. So thank you for sharing that. So for the final question, now this one take your time on. If I were to give you a magic wand and you had the ability to transform one aspect of your business for the better, what would it be?
It would be I wish there was another one of myself because I just haven't met an individual that thinks thinks in the way that I do. And the like I've always th since I've known, like I've walked into a business and I just sit there and just see what could I improve. And this was before tech and AI. Like I look at going to a place, I'm like, hey, you're a very busy restaurant. Why don't you guys have like kiosk and things like that? So for years I've been just like consulting businesses in my head, and I even have like a whole list where like I actually emailed the business owner if it's a big problem, like, hey, have you guys looked at this? And so combining that business curiosity and like always looking at ways to fix things, and then now being upskilled with the greatest tools of our time. Starting a business is easier than ever before. Like we have so much information at our hands. The way I've even structured the business and this like the holding structure and everything would have costed tens of thousands of dollars, which was just done in a matter of a few hours using the right information. And so to answer, it's like I wish there was another one of me because when I go into a business, like I haven't met anyone yet. If there is someone, please reach out, but that can come in and actually piece together and also build it. You're not just a sales guy that just knows. Like you really understand the core. Like early on, I would spend weeks in a business. Like no, people would say it doesn't make sense. If you're my client, I'm gonna go spend 2 weeks with you and actually go through every role. And business owner would be like, no, you don't gotta do that. Why are you wasting your time? It's like, I care so much about this craft. I will go knock on doors for you so I can see what it's like to sell your product. I will go into the garage and go look at it. Obviously, I'm not gonna learn it all in a day, but like I will actually put myself so immersed in it. And if I just had another one of those, it would be game over. So
Definitely. Ah, well, thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate that. Before we get to the final question of the day, let's help you find people to bring into your
yeah,
business or learn
that,
about you. So
that would be great.
yeah, how can people connect with you and your company online?
So I feel like the best place today is LinkedIn. Um, okay, are my socials gonna be in the description? Yeah. So
It should be at some point, but yeah, feel free to give your social handles.
so so here, best place would be just on LinkedIn. You find my name. We'll drop in the show notes, but also the other place is X. Um, just the company name, AgxntSix. That'd be a great. And then finally, like would be Instagram, abidi.ai is a place you can reach me at. But I'm really trying to build an X presence, so follow me there. I'm trying to I just know like that's where the future's headed. That's the social platform of the future.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Abidi. For our final question of the day, what is most inspiring to you today?
Most inspiring is people like yourself that are out here and helping other business owners, like really uplifting them. Like I really just appreciate that. Like it's been a while since I've been able to reflect onto my business and like be able to business and life. I wouldn't even say this was all about the business. It was just life and what's happening today. And so I appreciate and my biggest takeaway is Kate, your energy, what you brought to the podcast today. I know even being virtual, like it just felt like we were in the same place.
Ah, well, thank you so much. It was a joy talking to you, learning about your business and sharing your bit of inspiration. So I appreciate you. Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, thank you. Bye now.